Hey vinyl friends and vinyl community, it's Brian from Brian's Vinyl Records. It's time for another installment of Vinyl Editions. Before we get started, I'd like to just say a couple things about the future of the channel. Not going anywhere obviously, but due to the fact that all three of my kids will be starting distance learning next week, there may be some changes in schedule and some things that just I'll have to do videos when I get opportunities to do videos. So there may be some inconsistencies. I'll be trying to do every Monday, but like this week, it may be a challenge. So just bear with me. I will do what I can to keep videos coming. I'm going to try and do my Christmas video still and other things like that. So hopefully we'll keep things going on a regular basis, but don't be surprised if some of these videos get thrown out there on different off days or different days than they're usually on. It's going to be a challenge and an adjustment for me, having the three boys home constantly and also having to do schoolwork, which is going to put them basically right outside that door so that I can help when needed, things like that. So bear with me on that, but I will do my best to release content as quickly and as often as I can. But I do want to thank you all for being here today. I've got a healthy stack of stuff to show today. Did a record store trip last week, early in the week. Also had some pre-orders come in and found a holy grail. So we'll get to all that and more. So let's talk about it. So first and foremost, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I decided to take out an extended lunch. Didn't have a whole lot going on at work, so it worked out. And I ran down to my local record store and perused the bins and found some really cool stuff. So let's start with this one here. This is Mary Chapin Carpenter. This is a 1989 album from Mary Chapin Carpenter. This is State of the Heart, and this is one that was right before her big smash hit came out with Shut Up and Kiss Me and all the other stuff that was that she got famous for. This is a fantastic album, and I really enjoyed it. So this one I showed up in the new arrivals bin, so I definitely had to grab it. It's in really great shape. It's got a little hole punch up at the top here, but otherwise it's just a fantastic looking piece of vinyl and just a really good album. So super happy to have that in my collection now. Next, I added a couple things to my Bob Dylan collection I'm super excited about. I've been looking for this one for a while, and for some reason I never see it in the used bins, and when I see it listed, it gets bought before I can get there and things like that. But I finally found a copy. This is Bob Dylan's Highway 61 Revisited, an absolutely fantastic Bob Dylan album. So super excited to finally have this in my collection. I almost bought a reissue of it, which would have been fine for me, but I found this and it was a very good price, and it's in really good condition. It's got a little staining on the album art because of ring wear and whatnot, but otherwise looks really good. This is, I believe, a mono version as well, so that's really cool. And I added this one. This is Oh Mercy by Bob Dylan. Now this one you don't see a whole lot, and when you do, it's pretty expensive to get this album, but this one had a little cover damage on it, which I think lowered the price quite a bit for this, and I think I paid right around half of what it normally goes for, and I haven't seen anything else on here to indicate why it would be so much cheaper. The vinyl looks pristine, so I think just because of this cover damage I saved quite a bundle of money on picking this up used. I almost bought this new the week before, so glad I waited and pulled this copy out. So Bob Dylan's Oh Mercy. Digging through the bins, I also found one that I've been actually looking for a while, and you know me, I like soundtracks quite a bit, and this is a soundtrack I've had on my radar for quite some time, and there it was just staring at me in the bin, and I picked it up. This is Dick Tracy, so Madonna, I'm Breathless, the music inspired by and from the motion picture Dick Tracy. This is obviously the album that had the song that everybody knows, Come On Vogue. That was the hit off of this album. This was the only album that was on other than the Immaculate Conception, or Immaculate Collection album that she put out with her greatest hits and stuff like that. But before that, this was how you got the song Vogue. Really fun soundtrack, all sorts of different styles of music on here. Madonna does, I think, all the songs on here, and really enjoyed it. So super excited to add that to my soundtracks collection. And then I picked up this album while it was there. This is Carrie Underwood's Christmas album that just came out recently. Super excited about this. I'll talk a little bit more in my Christmas albums video if I get to that, but this is awesome to add to the collection of Christmas albums. All right, some pre-orders. If everyone knows, if they've been paying attention, that Mariah Carey is reissuing her whole catalog on vinyl in spurts. So the first album came out, I think, a week or two ago, and now she's releasing the next, I think, 4 albums that just came out. So we've got this one. This is Mariah Carey's Emotions, and I'm sure I've told the story before, but when I was a kid, I got my first CD player, and the first CD I ever bought was this one and Poison's Look What the Cat Dragged In. Interesting combination, but that is where my head was at the time. I was a top 40 guy transitioning to a hard rock metal guy. So those are the 2 albums I walked away with, but just a fantastic album from Mariah Carey. Her first 2 albums, I think, to me, are her best albums. So yes, super happy to have that. And then also the Unplugged album. So this is one I just recently picked up on CD and really enjoyed. So when I saw that it was getting a vinyl reissue as well, I had to jump on it. Just a really great performance by Mariah Carey. It's amazing to listen to her hit those really high notes like it's flawless for her. So really cool. Good album as well. So Mariah Carey Unplugged. She also put out, I think the next 2 solo albums are also out, and there's another batch that are coming in December and another batch after that are coming in January. So if you're a big Mariah Carey fan, now's the time to really pick up some of her albums on vinyl, and most of them for the first time. Really cool. Another thing that I picked up, this one comes from Amazon. I've been wanting to get this for a while, just haven't pulled the trigger. I finally did. Presidents of the United States of America's self-titled kind of major label debut. This one, of course, has Lump on it and Kitty. It's, you know, Peaches was a huge hit for them, and it's just a fun album. Really kind of, they're alternative rock, and I think they're kind of more of a parody or a comedy style alternative rock. The songs are great. This is a really fun album. I never really got into them after this, and I don't know why. But super happy. They put this out on a Kickstarter campaign where you could buy it on a green splatter type vinyl that they did. I didn't do that. I'm not a big fan of the crowdsourcing stuff. And I knew that they were going to put it out on black vinyl. This came out, I think, earlier this summer on black vinyl finally. And it's been in and out of stock constantly. It's back in stock on Amazon, so I decided to finally just pull the trigger and buy it before it became one of those albums that I've already seen people try and selling it for $100 on Facebook auctions and things like that, which I think is ridiculous. I think this cost me $23 on Amazon. I would rather pay that than the price that these are going to go for once they're finally sold out. So if you like this album and you've been thinking about it, I'd get it now while you can, because the prices are already going to start skyrocketing and it's ridiculous. Another one I picked up that I've been watching and finally just decided to pull the trigger on is this one here, 3 Doors Down, Away from the Sun. Now I have the other 3 Doors Down album that was really big for them, and I've always wanted to get this one too. And so I just finally pulled the trigger on it, and super happy I did. This one has Here Without You on it, which is one of their bigger songs, and I just really enjoy this album. So finally now have it on vinyl as well. I saw recently someone posted on the Instagram that Urban Outfitters was releasing the Christina Aguilera Christmas album, and I have always enjoyed that Christmas album, so I went out there to buy that. And they were also having a sale on their vinyl, and this is one I've wanted forever, but it's just super expensive. It's typically $30 or more to buy this album, and I have a CD, and that's fine for me. But when it dropped now to I think it was $22, I had to grab it. This is The Lonely Island, Incredibad. The Lonely Island, of course, is a skit on Saturday Night Live. Adam Sandberg and I can't remember the other guy's name now. I feel stupid, but either way, they just do incredibly funny songs. Most people will recognize some of the songs that they did with Justin Timberlake, Dick in a Box, Mother Lover, things like that. But one of my favorites here is I'm on a Boat with T-Pain. That is not, or that is on this album. And then you've got just, I'm not even going to go in. Natalie's Rap is hilarious on here. Yeah, this is a fantastically funny album from Saturday Night Live guys, and just really fun. So I'm super glad I finally got it. And the cool part is it comes on this really sweet, neon yellow splattered vinyl, and it's just really, really cool. So pumped to have this in my collection now, and who knows when I'll probably have to spin it today, as this is the last day where I have all the kids out of the house. And then let's just say you don't want the kids listening to this. Another one I finally pulled the trigger on. I just decided I needed to get this, and it dropped down another like $5 in price from the normal price, and so I just pulled the trigger. This is Jerry Cantrell's Degradation Trip Volumes 1 and 2. It's a 4-disc set. It's absolutely great stuff. If you love Alice in Chains, this is an awesome, awesome album. It's a lot of music. Like I said, it's 4 albums in all. And there's a ton of songs on here. I have had the Degradation Trip 1 and 2 on CD forever. They do have a shortened version of this on a green colored vinyl cover, green cover, and that I think only has half of the tracks on it. It might even be less than half the tracks are on that, and that was cool, and it's a lot cheaper, but I really wanted this, so I finally pulled the trigger. This is released by Music on Vinyl, and it sounds absolutely incredible. It's awesome, and I'm so pumped to have it finally in my collection. The last couple things here, I did mention that I finally picked up a Holy Grail for me, and this is a tough one to get, but first I also wanted to mention this one. I picked this up. The Holy Grail costs money, and what I'd like to do when it costs money like that is to spread it out the cost and get another album, so it makes me feel a little better about spending the money. So I picked up this. This is one I never see in a very clean copy. This is a 1988 pressing, I want to say, done by Quality record pressing and released by Sun Dazed Music, who always put a very good effort into their reissues. So this sounds absolutely awesome. And yeah, so I'm really pumped. My copy of this, which is actually sitting right here, my original copy of this was, the cover looks okay. It's pretty well beat up, but the album is just scratched and scuffed and just, it was really, really bad. You could barely listen to it. So when I saw this there, it's a VG Plus cover and VG Plus vinyl, I had to jump on it. So super, super happy. I listened to it the other day. It sounds so good. Just quality audiophile vinyl on this, and I got it for a really good price. So super pumped about that. And then of course my Holy Grail. Not a lot of you will probably know this. This is Rhino Bucket. They are a hard rock band who have a very, 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 very similar sound to Bon Scott era AC/DC. AC/DC is one of their major influences. In fact, Simon Wright, who took over for Phil Rudd on drums during the Flick of the Switch era, drummed for these guys at one point in their career, and they got kind of their big break from Wayne's World. The song Ride With Yourself was used from their second album in the movie and on the soundtrack, and I heard that and really liked it, enjoyed it, and I bought the second album on cassette and absolutely love that album. And then I bought this one on cassette as well back in the day, and they've just been one of my favorites. They sound, like I said, a ton like AC/DC. They're really good. The songs are great, and so I've been looking for this forever, but they were only pressed in Germany, so it's hard to find one. And this popped up in the United States, which it never does. And then when it does show up in the United States, it's usually around $75 to $100. And I found this for considerably less than that, and it's in absolutely beautiful condition, which is another problem, is most of these don't come in great condition. This one's almost pristine. The only thing he did say was it's got this little tear on the back on the cover, and that's it. I mean, it's beautiful, and the vinyl is great. It sounds absolutely fantastic, on Reprise Records, and super pumped to finally have this in my collection. And now this was my #1 Grail on my list still to get, and so now their second album moves up to that #1 spot, and I'm looking for that now, and hopefully I can find that as well. That one's a little tougher, a little more expensive to get, so we'll keep an eye out. You just never know. So there you go. That is my conclusion for this week's vinyl editions. A lot of stuff came in. I'm really excited about it. I got more pre-orders coming in this week. November is a really big month for pre-orders, so I'm looking forward to that. I got some real cool stuff that are coming. I got some unofficials that are coming later today that I'm looking forward to as well, so I'll show you those hopefully next week. And yeah, really pumped about these selections, adding them into my collection. Really excited. So I want to thank you all for watching this episode of Vinyl Editions. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below. I love interacting with everybody there. Do you know Rhino Bucket? I'm really curious to know how many of you have heard of Rhino Bucket or their music. I think it's if you like AC/DC, you should totally check them out. They're very good. Yeah, so that's gonna do it. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. Love to have you along for the ride. Thank you for watching, and until next time, whenever that may be, keep spinning, vinyl friends.